on this week's episode of teaching you how to do things that I'm not exactly qualified to teach you how to do. Hey guys, it's Erin. Today I'm going to be showing you how to grow sprouts in a mason jar. Here is one of my jars of sprouts. I'll take the lid off and show you what a sprout looks like. So it's basically, kind of looks like grass. It's like a little baby tiny green. And they're so good for you. I have a couple things written down on my phone of some of the health benefits for people who may just not know what sprouts can do.
So number one, they can aid in digestion. So if you have problems with like IBS or constipation or leaky gut or anything else where like your digestive system is just all out of whack, try adding some sprouts along with some other plant-based foods in your life. Seriously, ask any vegan that is like really based on whole foods, like based on whole foods diet. Like your digestion goes from like to like amazing. Like it's really easy to poop. Next thing, it can boost your immune system. It can help in weight management, protect your body against cancer, which who doesn't like a good cancer fighter? Improve your blood circulation, help reduce the risk of different heart ailments. It's also good for inhibiting the growth of cold sores, reducing the effects of allergic reaction and asthma.
And if that doesn't get you enough, like sprouts, they're so little and you don't need to add a lot of them. So like you can add them to like a salad, just sprinkle them all on top, or like a wrap or tacos, anything where you'd eat a raw vegetable, you can add these to. But you can also put them into like smoothies and soups and anything that you would cook too. So they're a nice garnish, but they also can be incorporated into cooked food. So it's basically up to you how you want to use them. And
there's a significant amount of protein, which you don't need that much protein in your life. Like everybody thinks you need so much protein, and we won't even get into that. But if you're worried about protein, grab some sprouts. They also have dietary fiber, which a lot of sources of protein that the average American eats doesn't have any fiber in. Chicken, eggs, other meat, so get yourself some plant-based protein. They also have vitamin K, folate, niacin, thiamine, vitamin C, vitamin A, riboflavin.
And sorry if I said any of those wrong. I'm not a doctor at all. And then they're full of minerals too, so they contain
magnesium, copper, zinc, iron, calcium,
and a couple other ones that I don't exactly know how to say. I'm not gonna butcher it. So basically what I'm getting down into is sprouts are just so good for you, and you can grow them in a mason jar. So here is what my sprouts look like after about 6 days. They're like 3/4 of the way up in a 32-ounce mason jar. And so you don't want to eat sprouts just like by themselves, because let's be honest, they kind of taste like grass when you're, and like that concentrated taste, like maybe not the most appealing thing to most people. Gotta chew now. But seriously, they're so good when you add them into things and you mix them, and it's just like that little bit of like flavor. I also have another jar of sprouts which have been going for about 3 days. These ones, well, first off, the first set of sprouts, I get my sprout seeds from the Sprout House. It's a New York based like farm company, I'm not sure, but they're all organic. And the first ones, these little ones here, they're made up of French lentils, garbanzo, and mung. From what I can tell, you can basically sprout just about anything. The second one, the seeds are a little bit bigger, as you can kind of see. I'll show you on the bottom. And I'm excited for these. I think they're going to be more of that like thick, like heartier sprout. And the seeds for these are French lentil again, sunflower, mung, adzuki, and green pea. And then today, what we're going to be making is these fun ones here. As you can kind of see, there's a little bit of a glare. But right here we have kumquat, fenugreek, adzuki, French lentil, and that's it. So basically all that you have to do to make sprouts, you need a 32-ounce mason jar. You could do bigger, you could do smaller. You'd probably just want to adjust the amount of seeds you put in. So I'm just going to do this right here to kind of show you. So I take 2 tablespoons and throw it in the jar. 2 tablespoons is just what I like to do. I haven't done a lot of these bigger seed ones, so I'm not sure how much they like fill up the jar. But the tiny seed ones, if you do 2 tablespoons, it fills up an entire 32-ounce jars after 7 days of growing. So basically, it just covers the bottom barely. And then the next thing you do is you add some water into it. And the whole sprouting process is just the seeds and water. You don't need dirt or fertilizer or anything special. So again, I take my tablespoon, and for every tablespoon of seeds you have, you do 4 tablespoons of water. So I'm just gonna do 8 tablespoons of water in this, since I put 2 in there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's easy as that. Now all I do is let this sit for 12 hours and then I rinse it out, which is where these lids come in handy. So I got these on Amazon. It's called the sprouting jar. It comes with 1 mason jar and then 3 of these lids that are like mesh. So you can see they've got little holes in them, and you just attach it to the top of the mason jar. It screws on nice and tight, and then when you're done soaking your sprouts, you just rinse them out. After you rinse them, then it's basically, they're pretty easy to care for. Every morning and every night, you just rinse them off. Let's go over to the sink. I'll show you how I do it. It's super easy, and you're gonna be like, okay, Erin, I understand. So all I do to rinse my sprouts is I add a little bit of water, probably a couple of tablespoons. I don't measure it out. I kind of swish everything around in the jar, and then I attach the mesh lid and kind of just pounce it out until all of the water, you don't want any standing water in the jar, so it's as easy as that, and then you're good to go for another 12 hours. And if you forget to water it, like in the morning or at night, or don't go exactly 12 hours, like, you don't have to fret. There's been plenty of times where I only water it once a day, or like just like forget, and I do it like 6 hours apart or something because I forgot at some point, or like my schedule didn't jive up with my sprouts. Like, they're not gonna die, they're not gonna like get ruined, but try and water them every 12 hours. After you rinse your sprouts, you just let them go, let them sit, let them grow for the rest of the day until you rinse them again at night or the next morning. And then when you eat them, you do want to rinse them off before you eat them, because since they're like growing in water, some like microbes and stuff can get in there, and that's like the only negative effect of sprouts. I've never had any trouble like getting sick from or anything, but I think depending on like the climate you're growing in them and how like good you are about getting all the water out of the jar every time that you rinse them and having no standing water, you could have an issue with like microbes growing in there. But seriously, just take them out, put them into like a strainer or something, rinse them, and then use them however you want to use them, and get yourself some sprouts. Seriously, I hope everybody in the world goes out and makes their own sprouts, because they're ridiculously expensive. They're like $4 at my grocery store to buy just like a little packet that's probably like half of one of these, whereas one of these, I got like 20 packets of seeds, which I can use multiple times for like multiple batches for like $18. And it was on Amazon, so I didn't even have to leave my house, which, bonus. So, plant some sprouts. Tell me when you plant some sprouts. Eat your sprouts. Just love sprouts.